Anyway, let's get to the good stuff here, which is really, I want you as a master of negotiation to really give us, like, in the business world now, like, what is it? I know it, and again, I know, like, I have a theory, every sale's the same, but of course, meaning that there are certain key elements that must line up. And I'm sure the same is of negotiations, but everyone is different within that sort of, that matrix, that there are variables, but the way you handle them is always basically the same. My goal as a salesperson is to corral it as much as possible and move it from one point to another, open to close. So I assume it's pretty similar from your perspective with negotiation. So what are your steps, if you can lay them out, like sort of, 5, you started on some already, but like, your sort of steps for how you go about in the business world, getting the best deal possible, whatever you do.
Yeah, well, I want to establish a great relationship so that you're comfortable working with me. And I want to gather up as much information as possible because there's always a better deal to be had. Always, always, always. How do I find that deal? I got to get you comfortable enough to deal with me so that you start telling me stuff you're scared to tell anybody else. The stuff that you're hiding because you're scared it'll make you vulnerable. If it'll make you vulnerable, there's also great opportunity there.
Give me an example. You said before, you brought up a great point, which is something that pisses me off with so many people that teach sales or negotiation that don't recognize what you said, is that it's one thing to say it's the first 4 seconds. It's another thing to know how to do it, right? Like so many people say, oh yeah, you gotta get it. How? I'm like, right? So I'm a big believer in my book. I show you exactly from my perspective in sales, how you go about doing that. And I get really granular, right? And I know that you probably appreciate that because you do the same. So what are your strategies as a negotiator for, like, how do you uncover, in this instance, you brought up a great point, because I say there's these intangibles, almost these things of value. They have massive value to the other side, but maybe not so much value to you. That's a huge opportunity in negotiation, right? How do you drag those things out of someone else without breaking the wall?
One of our favorite ones that we really use a lot is I get you correcting me. I'll say stuff wrong on purpose. Now, most people won't do that because they think I got to know everything. I can't be corrected. I can't be wrong. Being wrong is embarrassing. Most people would rather die than be embarrassed.
Give me an example. That's a great idea. Give me an example of that. Like what you would do, like say something wrong on purpose. Give me an example.
I'll say, it seems like Jim on your side of the table is really against this. If Jim is in favor of it, you're going to go like, no, Jim's good. It's Bob who's against it. Now you just gave me information I'd have never gotten out of you otherwise that you shouldn't have told me, ever. You just threw Bob effectively, but I'm not going to hurt Bob. Now I got a great diagnosis where the problems are. And that's you're never going to regret telling me that, because your correction, for me, a correction's embarrassment. For you, it feels great.
Would it be also like when you do it with like price? It sounds like maybe you guys, this is a bit above your budget. Like that's kind of what's bothering you. Say, no. Would you use it for that, or more for like, how far would you go with that sort of strategy?
As your gut instinct, I know, tells you, price isn't the issue. The issue is value. So somebody pushes, and if that's the case, then changing the price is not going to make it a better deal. Mm-hmm. So I need to know what's going to make it a better deal. So I'll say, if you got a problem with price, I'm going to say, boy, it sounds like the value is just not there for you. Again, there's a correcting motion reaction on your part.